Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of seasonal cleansing. It's a transition from summer to autumn time. Early autumn, Vata is aggravated. And along with aggravated Vata, the symptoms that we may be experiencing is this unsettled feeling, mood swings, low level anxiety, sleeplessness, racing thoughts, and being just unsettled and ungrounded. That's how our body is just transitioning from one stage into another. And what happens during this stage is that our immunity dips. It's if you imagine that you need to do a big preparation in the house, yeah, like you change everything, you change your wardrobe, your clothes, um, you change how you behaved in the summer to how you're going to be in the autumn. You may be taking the um, warmer clothes out, preparing your wardrobe, doing the things around, preparing to be like more cozy and warm. And it's a big transition. So, with that, with this big change, as our body needs to prepare for this shift, our immunity generally dips. So that's why it's really important to give our body some time to adjust. And the best way to do it is doing a seasonal cleanse.
Because what we don't actually realize a lot of the time is that it's not just the food we're digesting, it's everything that we're taking in from our senses. So, sensory overload also affects our body. What we're listening to, what we're watching, the things that we're doing every day, like, we're constantly on the go. That's all affecting our body, and it can bring our body out of balance. So when we talk about digestion, we're not just talking about the food, we're talking about everything that we're digesting. And what a seasonal cleanse allows us to do is to simplify everything. So we simplify the foods that we're taking in, we simplify the activities that we're doing, and we just really just focus on creating more spaciousness in our physical form and also in our life. And that is just a wonderful thing to do this time of year. As Maria said, as the Vata dosha, as that dosha which is prone to irregularity, and also the dosha that can easily get out of balance if it connects with our nervous system. She talked about anxiety and this feeling of like ungroundedness. So what a cleanse does at this time of year is it just nourishes all your senses. It nourishes your body. It nourishes your nervous system. Yes, we are lightening up on food and giving our digestive system a break, but we're also looking at all the other aspects that we need to address in order to stay grounded and really prepare our body for the wintering that's coming ahead. As we get older, our digestion also changes, and you may well have noticed this in your own body, as we hit, if we're going through menopause or we're sort of getting into our later years. I mean, I'm 50 at the moment. I noticed that my digestive system slowed down, my metabolism slowed down. It's very easy for me to gain weight. And so, and really that's just my system is just overloaded, as is most people's systems here in the West. We're not only having really busy lives, but we're also like maybe eating foods that are not necessarily compatible. We might not be changing the foods we're eating from summer into autumn into winter, and that's not compatible with our body. And so a seasonal cleanse is a really helpful tool in weight management.
It's one of my favorite ones because I already shared before that I'm such a foodie, and my family is predisposed to weight gain. So there is obesity in my family. And I think seasonal cleanse is one of the things which really, in a very gentle way, helps to come to this good weight, your ideal weight, but in a nourishing way, because many cleanses, what they do is like kind of starvation and then creating a yo-yo effect. So when you think from the just diet perspective, like, okay, so I don't like my weight, so I will go and starve. It's not really a cleanse. It's not what the cleanse does, and it's not what it's meant to do. Because what happens, and many people get it wrong, they go and they starve themselves, and they craving in their head. They keep craving all that food, and as soon as their detox is over, they're back to the weight they like. They go back to what they used to do, and that results in having even more weight on, because while you were cleansing, the digestive fire has diminished, and nobody is thinking about like this gentle transition from not eating anything to again eating a lot. That's where this extra weight gain starts.
Our bodies are these amazing machines, but we have to support it. You know, when we're younger, maybe not so much, but as we get older, there's a lot more debris floating in our system. It's much more difficult for our body to renew cells, renew healthy cells. And what it needs a lot of support from us. And a seasonal cleanse is just a really simple, easy way to do that. Like 2 cleanses a year, you know that you've given your body the break it needs in order for the detox pathways to be refreshed, for everything to be flowing again as it should be removing any stagnancy in the body, etc. I mean, our liver has to cope with a lot, especially with all the toxins that are in our environment, in our food, in our life, in the stress that we carry every day. It's filtering out a lot in our system. So really, this cleanse is there to support the liver and the detox pathways.
And if, for example, if you have some darker spots on your body, that's a good sign that your liver needs that detox. And that happens normally with age. It's a sign that your liver is in the overload mode.
The comments we usually get at the end of our cleanses from our clients are more energy, they're much more energized. I mean, it's a journey. So you start the cleanse on day 1 and you finish on day 10. So in between, there are dips. But by the end of the cleanse, most people are feeling super energized, much lighter in body, much clearer in mind, which is another great thing. They've incorporated some really amazing self-care rituals as well, because the cleanse is not just about food, like I said at the beginning. It's about nourishing all of the senses, pacifying the nervous system, and giving yourself a toolkit so that you can manage stress, so you can manage life in like a healthy way. So there's yoga, there's journaling, there is breath work, there is yoga nidra, there's all sorts of lovely things. So you're having these new experiences, which are very enriching. So although they're not enriching in terms of like food, they're nourishing and enriching on your nervous system and on your life as a whole. So people do tend to feel like they've learned something new, they've had a new experience. And I think also the Ayurvedic nutrition is just such a valuable thing to know. And that also gets taught during the cleanse. So there's a recipe book with all different healing spices in there and nutritious recipes that are light on digestion, but also very satisfying whole foods that don't leave you feeling hungry, but are not overwhelming to your digestive system. And really talking about Ayurvedic nutrition, the 6 tastes, and how that helps our body to digest, assimilate, and metabolize the foods that we take in.